There's a few exciting Nintendo Switch stories we have to talk about today, starting with TMNT Shredder's Revenge getting 11 minutes of new gameplay footage and an official release window confirmation. Then we also have to cover Sonic Origins getting its official release date and a very confusing and honestly just a dumb pricing structure. Then the big talking point for today's video has to do with Nintendo Switch and their 2022 lineup, as there's been some massive games that have been shifted around, and we have to have a broad conversation of what this means for the rest of 2022 Nintendo Switch games going forward. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, there's a few different stories we have to get through today, and we have to kick it off with a conversation around Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, as this is one that I've been waiting for more information to hit because I am a fan of the classic Turtles games, and this one looks quite honestly just incredible. Everything I've seen so far has definitely had me hyped for this title, and we now have some brand new information around the game, including IGN got an 11-minute gameplay trailer that I'll have up on screen, and I'll also have the full video linked in the description down below in case you guys do want to watch that, as it does show a nice look at level progression overall, and you can kind of just get the idea of how this game is going to play, and it's just looking as good as ever in my opinion. And we can also see this posted up on Nintendo Everything, where it says TMNT Shredder's Revenge out this summer, features 1987 TV series voice actors, new gameplay and physical version is confirmed. So we are indeed getting the classic voice actors brought back, and this game released physically, which we will talk about an issue with digital only games in a second in the next story, but I'm very hyped that they know their target audience with this title, and they're going to be releasing it both digitally and physically, and we now have that summer release window to look forward to, which summer 2022 for gaming is now being very stacked. I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments down below whether or not you're planning on picking up TMNT Shredder's Revenge, what you think about the new gameplay footage that we got today, and are you hyped like me that we are definitely getting this game both physically and digitally with quality voice actors. So please share all your thoughts and feelings on TMNT Shredder's Revenge in the comments down below. Now, the next story we're talking about today has to do with Sonic Origins, and you may remember recently on the channel we discussed this game getting an official ratings in a South Korean rating board, and of course we expected some new information to come soon around the release date. Well, that day is now here, and we have a new hype trailer with one very big problem on what Sega, or actually two very big problems with how Sega is choosing to handle this game. And I do want to kick off the conversation by hopping over to VGC, where they have a breakdown of all the information that has been unveiled, the multiple pricing structures for this game, and a big issue that this is only going to be released digitally and not physically, which is a big problem for me as someone who always prefers to get a physical copy when possible, and especially when you talk about throwback classic Sonic games from the 90s era, I want these things on a physical cartridge that I can plug into my Nintendo Switch. But before I dive into all of my opinions on this, let's quickly read through this article posted up on VGC together. Sonic Origins locks modes, character animations, and more behind DLC. 3 DLC packs seem to be required for certain modes and features. Sega has confirmed that specific modes, features, and even visual elements in Sonic Origins will be locked away as premium editions. In a new table on the game's official website, it's revealed that there are 3 separate DLC packs which each add new features. While the standard $39.99 edition of Sonic Origins includes the main game itself, players will also need a Start Dash Pack, Premium Fun Pack, and Classic Music Pack if they want everything the game has to offer. Further reading, Sonic Origins release date, price, trailer, pre-order DLC, and more. The Start Dash Pack is free DLC, but is only included if players pre-order the game, while the other 2 are paid DLC. The following are locked behind DLC. Start Dash Pack, 100 bonus coins, mirror mode unlocked, letterbox background Mega Drive design, Premium Fun Pack, hard missions 11 in total, letterbox background 10 designs, character animations on the main menu, camera controls over the main menu islands, character animations during music islands. And Classic Music Pack includes additional music tracks from the Mega Drive and Genesis titles, 73 tracks from Sonic Spinball, Chaotix, and Sonic 3D Blast. It's not yet clear if it's possible to unlock mirror mode and hard missions through normal gameplay, and if the DLC just unlocks them instantly, or whether the DLC is the only way to obtain them. It appears that the easiest way to get all 3 DLC packs is to pre-order the digital deluxe edition of the game. This includes the Premium Fun Pack and the Classic Music Pack, while pre-ordering it also adds the Starter Dash Pack. Now, I think it should be very obvious if you have to create a multi-tier pricing page, as you can see here on screen, to explain what you get with each different version of the game. You are clearly overcomplicating this, and this should not be something that you should lead with, as it's just a very confusing message to consumers, and it's unfortunately for me one of these signs of Sega's kind of future that they are heading down. As we've talked about numerous times on the channel, their super game project that they are talking about, trying to do more things like live games as a service, and essentially try to get as much money out of each individual release as possible. And if it was something like the base game was $35 and the entire pack was at a $40, I would be perfectly fine with that. But this is something that they're going to entice people to pre-order with one of the DLC packs coming with it. What does this all cost individually if it's all broken down after that window closes to get the free DLC pack? Like, it's a very convoluted pricing structure, and I think Sega knows that as they release this infograph around it. So it's kind of one of those things where they should just step back, make this simple, and know who your target audience is, because people who grew up in the 90s like I did probably want this game physically as well, and we don't even have that option. We are getting a digital only release, and while I am still going to pick up this game because I want to have a reason to play through these Sonic games again and see them in a 16:9 aspect ratio, it's a very welcome addition overall. There's even new animations and cutscenes that have been created from the ground up, so like, yes, they've done some work to this classic collection. Missions and things have been added in where you have specific trials in different levels to basically have an in-game achievement type system. All that stuff is exciting, but Sega really screwed up the pricing on this one, with my opinion, and this feels a lot more like an EA style move, and I just hope that we don't see Sega continue down this path of trying to milk every last dollar and lock things that should just be included in the set release behind multiple DLC packs. And then if you talk about the long-term preservation of this game, it's already going to be an issue with this thing only being released digitally and having multiple DLC packs attached to it to get the entire experience. So am I still hyped for this game? Yes, I am. Sega has confirmed it's dropping on June 23rd, 2022, so that is the date on all platforms. I was a little bit confused with the Switch version, as that one's not available for pre-order right now, but it is still slated for that same June 23rd release. However, I think Sega needs to reevaluate the pricing, and I'm hopeful that maybe with enough feedback, they will choose to do something like the Sonic Origins Ultimate Collection, where it includes all the DLC and they go ahead and give it a physical run, especially on the Nintendo Switch. I definitely feel like that game makes a ton of sense to buy for the Switch, and I really want to buy it on a cartridge with all the DLC included out of the box. So I'm hopeful that maybe sometimes with these Sonic games, as time goes on, Sega does re-release them in different ways. And so that's the one glimmer of hope I have with this particular story, but they've definitely messed up the launch of this game that I'm otherwise very hyped for, in my opinion. I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below what you think about Sonic Origins, the new information we got about the game, the new game modes, and all of the different artwork and animation that is apparently now added in from the ground up, and how you feel about this pricing structure and the overall release of multiple sections of this game being locked behind different DLC packs. So I do want to hear from you guys on all things Sonic Origins and the release date in the comments down below. Now, the final story we're talking about today has to do with Nintendo's 2022 games lineup for the Nintendo Switch, as it has been ever changing up to this point in time, where we got the official announcement that Breath of the Wild 2 would officially be pushed to spring of 2023 as opposed to a 2022 game. We then have an indefinite delay for Advance Wars Reboot Camp 1+2 because, of course, the real world events, Nintendo is choosing to hold that game back right now due to its story plot. And now we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3 officially moved forward, which you almost never see happen in game development, but it is being moved all the way from a September time slot up to July 29th, as Nintendo tweeted out the following yesterday. Step into the vast world of Ionios and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 sooner than expected, now coming to Nintendo Switch on 7/29. Check out the latest trailer to learn more about the game's story, characters, and strategic battle system, where you can team up with up to 7 characters. Now, that tweet also included an absolute banger trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and definitely has me more hyped to dive deeper into this series for the first time, as historically I've not been the biggest Xenoblade Chronicles player, but I am ready to dive in headfirst into this game, and I'm definitely pumped for the sooner release that, again, you never really see it happen in gaming traditionally, but I do think this creates a very interesting talking point for what we could see in terms of the rest of Nintendo's 2022 games lineup, as I do want to highlight one other tweet that was made after this announcement from Direct Feed Games, or Nate the Hate over on Twitter, as he has the following to say, and this is kind of where my mindset is at with the rest of Nintendo's 2022 games lineup as well. The Xenoblade Chronicles 3 date advancement further illustrates that Nintendo is willing to sit on finished software and reshuffle their schedule to find the best place for a game. So a lot of people are speculating online that because this is now a summer game, a major release from Nintendo being Xenoblade Chronicles 3, that maybe indeed Splatoon 3, which up to this point in time has been slated as a summer project, might get pushed down to more of a September time window, or at least more close to that holiday or fall time window for the Nintendo Switch software. And while I do think that is a possibility, I also think you could still release that game in late August and have it technically still be a summer title without any further delays. But I think this does highlight how Nintendo handles business internally, and clearly if Xenoblade is ready to go essentially 2 months in advance of what its previous release date was, that was not some last minute like the developers are rushing around to try to finish it. It means that they were essentially more done with that game than we realized, and up to that point in time they figured that September was the good time window. We then have all of these changes happening with Nintendo's software lineup, and they're essentially moving around the puzzle pieces to make the most sense. And that's where I think it creates a lot of hype and excitement around what kind of titles we might see announced at the summer Nintendo Direct, that I think is very safe to expect. Even though E3 has officially been canceled, Nintendo just is going to do their own thing, business as usual, and keep to their Direct summer time window, probably in June. And I think this creates a lot of interesting possibilities when we talk about games like Metroid Prime 1 Remake being very likely, as 2022 is by all accounts still stacked with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, potentially Bayonetta 3 still hitting this year, and then also Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Like, they definitely still have a good holiday lineup even without additional games. But I think Nintendo knows that the Metroid fans out there and the Zelda fans out there are going to want something to release this year, and that's where I'm setting my expectations now, as I think we get some kind of Metroid Prime 4 update at the next Direct. And then they do say that the game is on track for later in 2023, maybe even 2024. Who knows what the status of that game is, but I think in the meantime they give Metroid fans what they want, which is Metroid Prime 1 Remake. Maybe it's this curveball and it is indeed Prime Trilogy HD, but it does sound like that game has been shifted to just be the first one for now, and it just seems like it's most likely done and Nintendo's waiting on it to release at the right time window. Then you have to have the conversation of Zelda and how Nintendo historically likes to release one Zelda game per calendar year, and I don't think they break that trend this year, as the heavily rumored Wind Waker HD and or Twilight Princess HD, which I'm not claiming them to be in a combo pack. I hope that they will be, but I will be very surprised if that is the case. The whole rumor and speculation about those games being done and ready to go this entire time from multiple industry insiders has been that the scenario would be, if Nintendo needs more time for Zelda Breath of the Wild 2's development, that would be the slot in game, one or both of those. And I do think it's most likely we just get Wind Waker HD standalone ported this year, as they will release them in chronological order from when those games actually came out, and then we get Breath of the Wild 2 next year, and then maybe the following year we finally get Twilight Princess HD brought over to the Switch. But I don't think Nintendo does it as in a combo pack, just for the simple fact that they've never done that with a Wii U port before, and I think they know they can make $60 a pop out of those classic games. And you can say that yes, they were already touched up and already done for the Wii U, so it's kind of a cash grab to release them individually, but I think the fan base just wasn't there on the Wii U, as that system only sold 13 million, and I think Nintendo sees what they have with the 100 million plus install base and the large chunk of that is now hardcore Zelda fans due to the success of Breath of the Wild. I think they give them the chance to play some of these games for the first time, and I think they know that they get the sales out of them individually that they wanted to see on the Wii U if that console was more successful. So I am very hopeful for Nintendo's 2022 games lineup at this point. There's even, of course, the rumored Donkey Kong. We don't have to get all these games. Even if we just get Metroid Prime 1 Remake, or we just get Wind Waker HD, or we just get the Donkey Kong, like, there is a lot of fun, unexpected announcements that I think are coming out of Nintendo's summertime Direct. And at this point in the video, guys, I want to hear from you personally on how you feel about the shuffling schedule of 2022's Nintendo Switch games lineup, whether or not you think like me and we do have a couple unannounced major games that will drop at a summertime Direct, or do you think we really do know most of the games lineup at this point in time for 2022? So I want to hear from you guys on all the different stories we talked about today, regardless of your thoughts and feelings around them, in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Make sure you check out yesterday's video if you haven't already, where we discuss the massive leak that hit the internet that does indeed suggest that the Game Boy family of systems are coming to Nintendo Switch Online at some point in the future, and a large discussion around the legitimacy of these leaks. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.